Thank you for joining us. Before we begin, a reminder to the media on the phone that you may now press *1 to line up for questions. I will now invite Minister Ravi Kahlon to give his remarks. Minister, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Shruti. Good morning. My name is Ravi Kahlon, and I'm the Minister for Jobs, Economic Recovery, and Innovation. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. A warm welcome to everyone, and I extend my greetings from our Premier, John Horgan. I'm pleased today to be joined by Ian Tosson, CEO, President of the BC Restaurants and Food Services Association, and Sibel Negris, Vice Chair of the Small Business Roundtable and CEO of the co-founder of webnames.ca. As we head into the last number of days of this year, without a doubt, 2020 has been a difficult year for so many. We have experienced loss, hardship, and challenges that we never knew would be coming our way. For some businesses, this pandemic has had a profound impact. While I'm not in your shoes, I understand the difficulties you face, even at the best of times. My family owned a restaurant for close to a decade in Victoria, and times were tough even then. I can't imagine the challenges that many businesses are facing during this pandemic. To own a business during these uncertain times brings challenges that no one could ever have imagined. I want to let you know that we're doing our utmost to ensure that small and medium-sized businesses throughout BC have the support they need to get through and beyond COVID-19. On October 9th, our government launched the Small and Medium-Sized Business Recovery Grant Program. This program is in place to support businesses hit hard by the pandemic. Since becoming minister 3 weeks ago, I've had the great pleasure to speak directly to businesses and stakeholders that have shared their feedback on how we can make this program even better and have a bigger impact. They identified ways we could adjust the program to make it even more accessible and inclusive. To all those people that spoke to me, my ministry, and shared your feedback, I want to say thank you. Since the outset of this pandemic, our government has said that we will be there for people and businesses, because people are our economy. If a program needs to be reviewed or expanded so it achieves the outcomes we all want, then we are ready to do that work. That's why I'm here to share that today, effective today, we have made enhancements to the Small and Medium-Sized Business Recovery Grant Program. These changes will make it easier for you to apply and access the funding that will help you get your business back on track. For example, instead of requiring the revenue loss of 50% or more, the criteria have been reduced to 30% at the time of application. This change will allow more businesses to be eligible for the grant. In addition, the time that a business is required to be in operation has been reduced to 18 months. This is a significant reduction from the previous criteria, which required that a business be in operation for 3 years. To help improve the application process, we have removed requirements for businesses to have a variety of remittance accounts like GST, PST, and WorkSafe registration numbers. We want businesses to have access to the grants offered in this program. We know for many of you, they will serve as a lifeline right now. For businesses that are temporarily closed or seasonal, we have shifted the criteria so that you are also eligible. Businesses impacted by the pandemic will be eligible to receive between $10,000 and $30,000 in non-repayable grant funding. For those of you who have been hit hard by tourism sector, we have increased the additional amount available up to $15,000. That means if you're a tourism business, will now be eligible for a grant up to $45,000. This investment in our BC businesses is our commitment to a stronger BC for everyone. Working with our stakeholders, we feel positive about the enhancements going to make and the difference for so many businesses. I would like to once again thank the industry associations, business groups that have met with me and us and provided their insights on how we could make this program even more effective. Your voices matter, and I want you to know that we are listening. We are learning, and we will continue to be nimble in our response. For those businesses that are interested in applying, The new criteria and application process is now in place. You can access the application, other important programs from the website bcbusinessrecoverygrant.com. For those of you who have already applied, you do not need to resubmit your application. It will be reviewed under the new program criteria. In closing, I would like to let you know that Minister Melanie Mark will have more to say about supports for the tourism sector tomorrow at 10 a.m. I would like to thank Minister Mark for the work she is doing on this very important file. And I would like to acknowledge Lisa Baer, who has previously served as the Minister of Tourism and now is the Minister for Citizen Services. Her commitment to the tourism industry was unwavering, and we thank her for incredible work during these challenging times. I would now like to invite Ian Tossison up to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, and I know British Columbia is going to be well served by your new leadership in this ministry. As President and CEO of the British Columbia Restaurant Association, we represent close to 14,000 small and medium-sized businesses in the province, approximately 193,000 employees, and sales of $15 billion. We're one of the most significant employers in the province in terms of employment. And in fact, if you look at the employment numbers, about 25% of our industry are between the ages of 15 and 25, and of that cohort, a lot of those are women. So it's important that this sector regains its strength right now. It would be, I'd be remiss not to say that this is probably the toughest December this industry has ever seen with respect to sales, of course, seasonal celebrations and Christmas parties and family dinners have basically come to an end in restaurants. And despite the hurt this is causing to the economy and to our industry, we're committed as an industry to do the right thing in terms of trying to work with the province and our community to get rid of this pandemic and get back to some sort of sense of normal. This government throughout the pandemic, right from the very beginning in March, where we took the leadership and wrote the opening plans and worked with government to reopen restaurants. Probably some of the world-class best protocols you could ever find in terms of opening the business. And it's been because of this partnership we've had with this government. Today, I want to just point out that this program is just another example of the partnership with industry and the government and our new minister. It couldn't come at a better time to provide a recovery grant program to the extent that it is. The minister mentioned the changes from the application process to the program criteria to incorporating more new business, seasonal business, and dropping the criteria from from 30%, from 50% in terms of sales. And I guess what's important is that, and for our industry to understand, is those changes, we were part of being able to make those changes with the ministry. There's total flexibility, total common sense. And Minister, I just can't thank you enough, because that makes such a difference. When we're in this crisis right now, none of us, we're playing this game day by day. And when we have a partnership like this with government, it makes all the difference. So thank you very much, Minister. I also just kind of want to acknowledge the minister's experience in the restaurant business. And that's great for us because he knows, I think he did some dishwashing when his mom owned the business. So he knows all too well that the toils and troubles it takes. But we will get through this. We look forward to the changing environment in 2021. And I will say that if you really want to go to a restaurant and support it, is buy a gift card, take your household family to a restaurant, do takeout and delivery. All those things are really important. If you just don't want to go to a restaurant now, gift a gift certificate for someone in their stocking. But on behalf of our industry to our community that we serve and vice versa, thank you very much. And Minister, again, thank you for this program. Oh, pardon me. And it's now my pleasure to introduce my colleague, Sibel Negris, who is the co-chair of the BC Business Roundtable and also owner of webnames.ca. Sibel?
Thank you, Ian, and good morning, everyone. And thank you, Minister Kahlon, for inviting me to be here today. My name is Sibel Negres, and I'm Vice Chair of the BC Small Business Roundtable. I'm also CEO and co-founder of webnames.ca, Canada's original .ca registrar, a technology company proudly based here in British Columbia. My company celebrated our 20th anniversary in this extraordinary year. And I'm so fortunate that I'm in a type of business that allows me and my staff to work from home and stay safe during this global pandemic. Because we offer online services such as domain names, web hosting, email, and related security solutions, our business actually grew since last year. But I know that not all businesses have been so fortunate. The pandemic has essentially picked winners and losers, and many businesses, such as those in the restaurant industry, hospitality, tourism, and retail, have really suffered. Studies have also shown that COVID-19 has had a deeper economic impact on women, youth, Indigenous, and people of color, many of whom who work in these sectors. I've seen firsthand the impacts the pandemic has had on many businesses, including those that were extremely successful prior to the pandemic. Few businesses have been spared by the economic impact of the pandemic, including many in the technology sector. Many businesses have had to make the difficult decision to lay off their staff. As a business owner, this would be one of the most heartbreaking decisions one would ever have to make. I know the blood, sweat, and tears it takes to start a business and the sacrifices it takes to succeed. And I think we can all agree that our local businesses are worth saving. That's why I'm thankful to Minister Kahlon and the staff at the Ministry of Jobs, Economic Recovery, and Innovation for listening to the business community and making the necessary changes to ensure that the small and medium-sized business recovery grant program will help as many BC businesses that need it. By simplifying the application process and streamlining the criteria for the grants, more businesses will be able to qualify and get the funding they need to help them invest in their business and recover from the economic impacts of COVID-19. I would also like to echo my colleague Ian's sentiments and remind everyone as we make our holiday purchases to buy BC, whether it be a gift card to your local restaurant, retail store, or online store. I wish you all a safe and peaceful holiday season, and I now invite Minister Kahlon back to the podium to answer any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. And with that, I will pass it back to Shruti for any questions people may have.
Thank you, Minister. And a reminder to the media to please press *1 to line up for questions. We will be taking one question and one follow-up this afternoon. And please do not mute your phones. You will not be heard until I call your name. We begin today with Derek Penner, Vancouver Sun. Derek, go ahead, please.
Hi. Yeah, I see that you changed the criteria for the amount of time businesses need to be in business to qualify. But there's still going to be a considerable number of businesses that did start up in 2020 that still don't fit under the criteria, having not been in business for 18 months. What more can be done for those businesses, or how do you see offering assistance to those that don't qualify for this and the federal programs?
Yeah, thanks, Derek. And you know, I think it's important to highlight that you know, not only have we put the $300 million for grants up now, we've also had tax credits for small and medium-sized businesses that not only are hiring new employees but also bringing employees back. We've had many other incentive programs that we've put in place during this pandemic. And I think one of the important changes we were able to make now is to adjust the program from 3 years to 18 months, and that's 18 months from when they apply. And I know, speaking to Ian, this is going to make a huge difference for many businesses. And so if they apply in the new year, it's 18 months from then. And so we're going to continue to have conversations with the stakeholders in the different sectors to find ways to support as many businesses as we can. We know this is going to be a challenging time, but we're working on our programs, trying to be nimble as we can to provide as many supports as we can.
Thank you. Derek, do you have a follow-up?
Yes. The fund is $300 million now. I can foresee that being used up fairly quickly, considering the issue out there. Is this going to be addressed or perhaps expanded in the upcoming budget?
Well, I'd be a very happy person if we got all the $300 million out to small businesses. I think that would be a really good thing. We know from the beginning the pandemic, the challenges we've faced have been different from March to September to now. And so we've been nimble. We have one of the most comprehensive plans in the country, in my opinion, to support people and businesses. And we're going to continue to do that. It's a priority for us as a government. And so in the next budget, if we find that there's needs, which I suspect there will be, we'll continue to find ways to support people along that way.
Thank you. And the next question comes from Martin McMahon, News 1130.
Minister Kahlon, I'm sure businesses are grateful for this additional help, but why now? We've already heard of restaurants and other businesses shutting down for good. What would you say to people who say this help is coming too late?
Well, I think I would say to them is that we've been supporting businesses from the beginning. We've brought in 25% tax credit for those who were trying to bring back former employees, or those that were bringing back or wanting to hire new employees. You know, we had 25% reduction in property taxes. We brought in changes to liquor license rules so that restaurants could buy at wholesale prices. So we've been continuously providing supports for businesses all the way through. And you know, there are some businesses that unfortunately have closed, but there are many that are holding on. And these supports that we're talking about today will be critically important for those businesses.
Thank you. And before I take your follow-up, Martin, if you have one, a reminder to the media once again to please press *1 if they have a question to line up. Martin, do you have a follow-up?
Yes, just a question for Ian Tostenson. Is this government support enough for your industry?
Good morning. Yes, and I would just a couple of things. I mean, we go back to the beginning of this. There is some break speed things changed. Policies in liquor, for example, wholesale pricing, the ability to order liquor when you order food at home, which was breakthrough. I mean, we did those things in days and weeks. Some of those issues have been on for months. So those are structural changes that have happened. Apart from all the the tax benefits, and certainly this government worked really hard on things like getting the proper rent program put in place with the federal government, the wage subsidy programs. All those things, yes, absolutely. Now, with respect to businesses closing, unfortunately, there were a lot of businesses that weren't going to make it, and I think the minister mentioned this in his remarks, is that it was tough for the restaurant industry even before this. Many of them were sort of at their wits' ends for various reasons, and so I don't think we can blame all closures on the pandemic. And you've also had a lot of people who decided that because of the stress of the pandemic, it's time to close. So in answer to your question, absolutely. This government has been open book, easy to work with. This program illustrates the flexibility they had in terms of being able to make changes, and so we're really, really pleased with this government.
Thank you. And the next question comes from Mr. Paul Gill, Sach the Awaz.
Good morning, Ian and Minister. Ian, what efforts is your organization making or the minister making to get this information to those family-run restaurants, from ethnic communities. As you are aware, a certain percentage of them might not be fully proficient in the English language. So what efforts are being made to convey this message to those businesses so that they can take advantage of it?
That's a great question, Mr. Gill. Thank you for that. So there'll be numerous things. First, we're going to be obviously working with our stakeholders. Ian's organization, there are many organizations that we've been engaging with over the last few weeks to ensure that they get the message out to their membership. We also, from the ministry, will be sending a letter to every single small business in BC, making sure that they know that this funding is available. We'll be reaching out to the BC, the accountants associations that oversee accounting practices so that they can help inform. And also, we're looking to hire and bring in some more services in the new year, early in the new year, for businesses that have English as a second language, so that there's support for them, that it makes the process for them easier for when they apply. And so more information is coming on that very shortly. It's certainly something that's very important to us. We want to ensure that language is not a barrier to small businesses getting access to our program, and that's something that's been top of mind for me, and something that I'll have more information for you certainly in the coming weeks.
Do you have a follow-up, Mr. Gill?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And since there are no more questions at this time, we will conclude the media availability. Thank you all for joining us today.